Imagine knowing that everything you experience is a reality you are creating. Imagine finally understanding that with the right belief system, you never have to be sick. Imagine never having to worry or have fear about anything because you are in control of it all. What will you do when you find out this is all true and what you have been told to believe is false? It is time to learn the truth. Hey everybody, and welcome to another broadcast of Reality Changer Radio. I'm your host, Dave Dickey, for the next 30 to 40 minutes, and we're going to explore another aspect of reality that will turn you upside down and hopefully get you in the right direction for living life on your terms. It is Tuesday at about 6:02, September 10th. And what I want to talk about tonight is a couple of things that are bothering me about the planet and the world. And hopefully you can stay tuned in to listen, which is why we don't do an hour and a half, 2-hour broadcast, because I don't really want to bore the crap out of you. I know how things are, and it's Tuesday night, and you're just getting home. You're trying to get everything organized, get the kids in place, all that stuff. I understand. And for those of you that skip this and just listen to the recorded broadcast, well then, hey, that's life, right? So here it is. A couple of things. Number one, recently today I posted on my Facebook page for Reality Changer about a concept that really is important to me, and that's about us, and I mean us as adults, being the change we want to see for the future. And when I talk about change, I'm talking about looking around at the world as it is today. And are you happy? Are you happy since 2008 when a lot of the collapses happened? Are you happy about all the crap talk about the Middle East and all this and all that and oh, woo, 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 woo? And I mean, ooh, woo, 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 woo. Let's get real, everybody. It's all soda water. And if you don't know what I mean by that, listen to one of the broadcasts a couple of weeks ago. It's all soda water. Everybody wants you to think about all this other crap instead of focusing on what could actually change the world and make those people obsolete and non-existent. And if those people were obsolete and non-existent, your world would be so much nicer and so much easier to live in because it would be made up of truth and real reality. And here's what I mean by that. We've been programmed, and I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but I have to. How many people are listening to this that are listening to this for the first time, and how many people just don't get it until they hear it a million times? And I'm not knocking anybody. I get it. Okay, that's cool. That's why we do this. That's why they say practice, practice, practice. Okay, great. So here's the deal. A lot of the people running the show, and I mean running the show, understand that you can quickly and easily change the perception of the conscious mind. And if you do it quick enough at a certain point in time, the people that you are affecting will change their action at that moment. Now later on they'll figure it out. Their subconscious will work in and go, hey, that was just a trick. That was just a magic trick. That was just something you'd see in Vegas. And let's move forward. However, when it's done properly and when it's done at the right time, in a sense the damage is already done. And what I mean by that is you've already been had and you have already reacted to being had. Okay? So just keep that in mind. All right? One of the things that we need to do is we need to teach the youth about being had. We've been had, our parents were had, our grandparents were had, everyone's been had. And everyone gets it. And if we were to sit around and we open up some bottles of wine and we have some cheese and some crackers, we all talk about it. But are we really doing anything about it? On a full-scale level, are we really doing anything about it? We talk about it in parties, and we laugh, and we joke, and we get drunk, and we go home, and we teach our children the same crap that we taught them the day before. Even though that night, we all sat around and said, yeah, you're right, boy, we've been had, boy, isn't it a shame, wow, this is horrible, blah, blah, blah. We gave lip service to it. And you know what? That is exactly what the people who are running the show want. They want us to feel as if we are free, okay? Because if you feel you're free, you won't fight to be free. If you feel that, we're the only country in the world that can sit around and get drunk and piss and moan about the government, okay, that may be. But what does that change? What does that truly change? Does that change the lives of your children? Does that change the future of the world? Really? Or does it just make you easier to go to bed at night like a nice little slave and feel comfortable in your little cocoon knowing that you live in a country? And trust me, folks, I am not an anti-American by any stretch of the imagination. My ancestors helped build this country, okay? But seriously, let's get real with the whole deal. Are you just one of the ones that gets to sleep comfortably at night knowing that you are comfortably medicated in the concept that I'm free because Daddy told me I am? What does that mean? What does freedom really mean? And what does it mean for your children and the future of this country? And let's face it, the future of the world. Look, like it or not, we have, as Americans, put ourselves in a position of a world leader. Okay? We've made it real clear to everybody we're the baddest kid on the block. We've made it real clear to everybody that even though we fake being attacked, we will strike out as the baddest kid on the block to whoever we need to finish that attack / counterattack fake scenario. And I hope that everybody who hears this rewinds this and listens to it, including the pauses, because it's deliberate. So you have to ask yourself, am I just dwelling in the concept that I believe I'm free because I'm told to, and I believe I'm free because I get to, in my house without cameras and bugging devices, complain about the country and the government? And is that truly what sets me apart from the rest of the world? Or is it that knowing that you feel comfortable with that, people are using that as a tool to keep you down and to keep you less motivated to changing the world in the manner that you were born to change it? You have to ask yourself this. These are questions that need to be asked. These are questions that were never asked. You never question your loyalty. You never question your patriotism. Oh, crap. Come on. Seriously? I started questioning everything when I discovered that everybody was freaking lying to me. I mean, come on. If you want to use the term the man to represent some ideology that really doesn't exist, but that's okay. You want to represent the man. The man has been lying to us and subjugating us to oppression forever in order to pull the political dogma over our eyes and make us capitulate and walk the line. Okay? When the reality is the only reason that's happened is because we as individuals have not been taught that we created all that. You see, I'm not here to blame the political dogma that has done that. Quite the contrary. They are a result of our own creations. We created those idiots. We created all that crap. It's up to each and every one of us to take responsibility for the crap that now exists in this world and step up and say, yeah, I get it. I'm responsible. And now that I know I am, I have to commit to making a better world by learning what no one was allowed to teach me. And that is that all of this is an illusion, and all of this can be changed with a collective consciousness. Just like America was formed with a collective consciousness of immigrants. Come on, if you don't believe that, then how the hell do you explain America being different than any other country in the world? Every other country in the world has its native nationalists. Okay? We came over here desiring a new reality. And we were damned if we weren't going to have it. We didn't care about falling off the edge of the world because that was the belief at some time. We were like, just get my ass out of here. Okay? That's how America was formed. And if you want to do any kind of history searching or any kind of ideology searching or any kind of comparing and all that other crap that's all head spacing, think about this. Think about the fact that America is the result of the rebellious children of the world combined collectively as its own ideology, with the understanding that I can go 3,000, 6,000, 8,000 miles away from you and get away from your crap and never have to discover it or see it or talk about it or experience it or live it again, and neither do my heirs. Think about that for a minute. That is what America is made up of, okay? Now, it doesn't change the fact that you've all been had. It really doesn't. And our youth deserves better. I want everybody listening to this broadcast to pledge to themselves, if not even to their kids or their nephews and nieces or whoever, but to pledge to yourself that you will not carry the legacy of being had. And you know the story. Well, my kids are going to have it better than I had it. And that stuff ain't going down for my kids. There's a lot of people, and I've covered it in another broadcast, that want to burn incense and they want to wear purple robes and change their names to Marvin the Magnificent. It doesn't change the message. It just goes woo, woo, woo. And it all comes from the late 1800s when all these gypsies and, it's powerful. Oh, it's mysterious. Oh, all right? Are you tired of the crap? Do you want to hear the truth? The truth is you've all been had. The truth is that you've all been had by someone who is no more powerful than you. And I'm going to give you a second to think about that while I sip on some wine. You've all been had by people who are no more powerful than you. What does that mean? Where does that put you? It doesn't mean that you're less than them. It means that you have not been given the knowledge they have. Plain and simple. That's why yours truly, Dave Dickey, is here. I am here to not only do this on the broadcast, but to do this in person. There's no reason. Every single one of us are spiritual individuals who are just as powerful as the next person. Why does anyone have to be had? I don't care if you're in the South or you're North or West. Doesn't matter. You speak with this accent. You do this, you're this color. Doesn't matter. We all are spiritual beings connected to Source. And we all have the same power as each other. So why the hell are we being had? I'll tell you why. It can happen. That's why, because it can happen. And some of us just want to run the whole show instead of sharing the power. That's why. And you say, well, I don't care about sharing the power. I don't care about running the show. Well, you damn well better care about being had. You don't have to share the power. You don't have to run the show. But how about you act like a slave? And how about you teach your children how to act like a slave so that I can dominate them and I can keep them? I'll tell you what. Here, you don't care about all this? I'll tell you what. Give me your children, and I will dominate them. I will teach you how to get them to understand that I am the leader. Would you like that? Does that make you happy? I don't think so. But that's what's been going on, folks. That is what's been going on. And it's time to change the game. And you can do it. You see, this is the thing. The very people that want to keep you down, they want to keep you so isolated from the truth that you don't even have 2 seconds to think about changing it. They want to keep you immersed in the screwy news where, it's all horrible, houses falling down from storms and traffic jams and wars and all this. And then what do you see for ads? Seriously, what do you see for ads? You see ads to self-medicate yourself. Or you see ads for food that's totally processed. Sorry, I'm tired of people looking at me like deer in the headlights, and I am tired of everybody being had. Sorry, this is an explosive show. And this is where it's going down. Everybody needs to wake up. Everybody needs to wake up to what is really going on, not in America, but in the world. Everybody needs to wake up as to their own particular power. And I'm reaching out to the parents right this second, and the families. Do you care about the kids in your family? Do you? How much? How much would you do to ensure that those kids live a great life? And I'm not talking about this old crap about, kids live a better life. You need to start telling yourselves that the old programming of, these kids are going to live a better life. No, just toss that out the window. Listen, you know that they don't listen half the time. You know why they don't listen? Because you're not the example. That's right. You're not the example. You're just another adult. Just like those dodos at the school. Which, please, don't get me started on that. That's another broadcast. Hey, I don't have to teach. Just give me a degree, and I can influence your kids forever. That's another broadcast. But you're the family, you're the parents, you're the guardians, you're the grandparents, you're the aunts, you're the uncles. You are the people that can influence these kids the most. And what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm not blaming you. Trust me, when I say what are you doing, I'm not blaming you. You haven't been given crap for education. You're still trying to make it and still trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I get it. But here's your chance to start making a difference in your family. You want a family legacy? Be the person in your family that woke everybody up. Be the one that they talk about 100 years from now. Hey, Uncle Johnny, man, oh man, I can't believe that he just stepped out of the box and he explained everything and he woke up the entire family. This is the legacy. Yeah. Be the legacy. Be the example. The kids want to hear what you have to say, but their spirit, which is no different than yours, does not want to listen to crap. Okay? Everybody needs to understand that. Kids want to hear what you have to say. Okay? Listen, you knew it was crap. Because that's what you were told to do, or that's what you think you should tell them because something in a book that's 70 years old or whatever. And please, everybody get the concept. Columbus did not discover America, okay? You have to start changing the way kids learn. You have to start changing the world. You want to be the change that you want to see. It's all purple smoke and mirrors. And the bottom line is, folks, that you, each and every one of you, are no less powerful than the person sitting next to you or living next to you or across the street. Okay? It's not like, well, I can't do it. I have to talk to Aunt May. You don't have to talk to Aunt May. You can start today changing the way that you do things. And I'm going to give you some tips here in the next few minutes that can start you off a miraculous change. Okay? Here. I'm going to give you about a minute and a half to go get a pencil and paper or whatever. And believe me when I tell you this, and this goes into my book that I'm writing and other things, it makes a big difference as to whether or not you're typing it or writing it down, because we all produce energy. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I've got time for other stuff. So everybody listening to this, you go grab something to write with, because I got some really important stuff for you guys. This is really important, okay? And again, you know, as the shows go on, you're going to hear me a little more rabid with each show, because this is how I feel. We need to change the world. We need to change the way children are raised. I mean, come on. 2008, seriously? The way it is today, seriously? We have more crap now in the world than we ever did. Are these the people that were taught success and abundance as children? I don't think so. You ask yourself. Okay? All right. So here, you got your stuff to write with. Now write this down. Okay, first off, I want you to write down, word for word, I am a powerful spiritual being. Okay? Now, next, my entire family are powerful spiritual beings. Okay? Now, what I want you to write down, and this is very important, is that everything that affects me is something I created. And my feelings are the most important thing in my life. Now to that, I want you to make a little side note, draw an arrow, and put a little family diagram there, and put on that note, be sure to tell family, because I want you to tell your entire family the exact same message. Everything they experienced, they created. Okay? Every part of that. I want you to tell them that. Okay? Next. You're going to change life as we know it. I want you to write that down. I'm going to change life as we know it. As I know it. However you want to put that. I am going to stop believing that kids should have it better than I did. Don't ask questions, just write it down. I have a reason for this. The reason I'm going to stop is because the children should have it just as awesome as I do. Period. And I am going to be, yes, keep writing. And remember, when I talk about this, I say I am. This is very important. I am. Afterwards, I digress a little bit here, but it's important. After you write all this, you're going to want to read this out loud to yourself. I am. I am this. I am that. I am doing this. I am doing this. Okay? So I am going to start expecting children to live as awesome a life as I live. Period. Folks, we're going to change the way the world thinks. We are going to change everything about the world here, you and I, together, as a collective. No longer are we going to be subject to old school programming and thought conditional programming. No, look at what it got us. Nothing. We are no further ahead than we were 60 years ago. Come on, please. Look at the average income. Look at the average taxes. Look at the average crap in the world. Can you really say that we're in the 21st century and that we are further ahead than we were 60 years ago? No, we are not. And we are not because we have not changed the way we do things. We have not enlightened ourselves to the understanding that we created all this. The reason it's the same is because we're just as ignorant of our own beings as we were 60 years ago. Think about it. Seriously, think about it. And now one of the other things that I want you to start doing, and write this down, is you're going to start making an emotional gratitude list. Oh yeah, we're going to start covering this stuff at every broadcast from now on. Here's the deal. I'm going to start giving you guys tips as to how to start changing your lives in this broadcast, because it's so damn important. You guys need to start like ASAP tonight. So here's the deal. Write this down. Okay, we got 7 minutes. Write this down. You're going to take 10 to 15 minutes each day, twice a day. Most of the time I tell people, if you can do it twice a day, do it. No, I'm telling you, do it twice a day. and you're going to be alone, and you want to do some calming music, or at least, if you're working one of those jobs, you're going to get in the car and you're going to lock yourself in and you're going to ignore everybody. And I don't care if you smoke. Stop smoking for 15 minutes and just pay some attention to yourself. We've been taught to put ourselves on the cross to show love to other people, but no one ever taught us how to love ourselves, and this is what we're going to do. So you're going to think back to one moment in time, not a weekend, not a week, not a month, but one moment in time when you were super happy. Super happy. And I want you to visualize this thing like it's coming out of your ears, like you time traveling, H.G. Wells in the time machine, and you're going back to that very moment. And you see everything. And I'll give you an example. A friend of mine that I worked with, his time was him and a buddy in Vegas. And they were sitting in a hot tub in Vegas, and hot chicks in tiny bikinis were bringing them champagne, and they were loving it. So what I told him was to see the women and hear the slippers that they would normally be wearing on the wet tile. Hear that sound. This is how close and how intense I want you, the listener, to do your moment. It could be a bike ride in the country. It could be a moment with a family member. It doesn't really matter. What matters most is that it's a moment in time that made you smile, that made you happy, that if you were to think about it on a regular basis, would make you go, that was a cool time. That, my friends, is what you want to bring into realization in these 10 to 15 minutes twice a day. And get used to the visualization and get deep into it as if you've time traveled back into it, and find yourself smiling. And forget all of the world, because anything, all of it only exists in the moment that you are in. Right this second, it's only this moment. Yesterday and tomorrow don't exist until they happen. So you and I right now have this moment. And in this moment, my friends, treat yourself to an experience. Treat yourself to evolving back to the spiritual being that you've always been. And give yourself a break. Recreate this moment, 3D, hear the sounds, feel the feelings. As I told my friend, feel the sweat coming off of your forehead because of the heat of the water in the jacuzzi. This is how deep I want you to go, my friends. This is how deep I want you to recreate the moment that you were happy. Now, you may have several of them, and that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to do the same one each time. You don't have to do the same one each day. But understand the deepness of how you have to go. Understand just exactly how detailed you need to be. This is what I call in my book the happiness meditation. Okay? You block out the entire world and you go back to a moment in time when there was only you and happiness. Okay? And the more you do this, the more during the day I want you to think to yourself how awesome it is that you can deliberately put yourself in a happiness state, regardless of what's going on, because what happens is just like anything else. You're riding a bike or you're driving a car, you're creating a habit. How cool is it that you're going to create a habit of making yourself happy? How cool is that? It's not logical, it's not functional, it's just happy. And how cool is that, huh? And what's going to happen is, if you've ever seen those pictures of human auras. You go to those carny shows or those shows or whatever, and they take pictures of your aura. Well, believe it or not, folks, what that is that's the energy that's shooting off of you. Okay? And that's how people can tell, like, the colors and stuff, like, oh, you're in a bad mood, or, oh, you have a kidney infection, or whatever. That's how they're able to do that, because that energy that's shooting out from you can be photographed, can be analyzed, okay, and can be changed. This energy, like I've talked about in previous broadcasts, this is your feeling, emotional energy. And what you're going to do is you're going to change all of it by this happiness meditation twice a day. And I repeat, twice a day. Look, we're taught how to put ourselves on a cross to show love for each other. What the hell? No one ever teaches us how to love ourselves, okay? You need to start loving yourself, because you're okay. All right? You are a beautiful spiritual being, and you need to start loving yourself for that. And I'm here to help you with that, okay? So, you want to change the world, you have to start loving yourself, because please, seriously, are you going to give somebody else love if you don't love yourself? Come on. Now, this little exercise is going to help you tremendously, and I hope you wrote it all down. Look, if you didn't write it down, then download the recorded broadcast when it's uploaded to Spreaker and write this thing down. This is something you need to do every single day. And you have somebody that you talk to, and you go, oh, yeah, I didn't hear it. Tell them about it. Say, hey, look, here's the link. Go listen to it. Go write it down. Start changing your life. Help your friends. Help your family. Okay? We need to get everybody on board here, folks, okay? Everybody needs to start feeling better about themselves and understanding that we're all capable of changing this entire landscape of reality. Okay? We are not the victims. This is the crap that they want us to believe. We are not the victims. We are the creators. They don't want us to understand that, okay? Once you understand that, and you understand that not only are you in charge of your health and whether or not you're sick or well, you're in charge of your own happiness, you're in charge of everything. You are in charge of every piece of your reality, okay? You are not the victim. You are the creator. Okay? All right, well, that's it for today's show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it and are a little closer to living life on your terms. Join me next week, won't you, for another mind-blowing show about the truth of reality. Until then, my reality is not your reality. What are you creating today?